I'd like to address this to President Obama. We have just lived through a natural disaster. My government came to me, FEMA in particular, and the top insurance money that I can get for a whole home that was destroyed, which my house has been, is $30,000. It's beyond. It's insult to injury. How could a government do this to its people? They spend millions of dollars overseas. You have a military budget. You're fighting wars all over the world. What about the people here in New York City? Shouldn't you be here? Shouldn't you be feeding us and clothing us and helping us? Because I don't feel you. I don't feel you at all.
You are standing right now at the southernmost point of New York State. And that's south, and that's New Jersey, right? But you didn't know that, did you? See, that's something else you didn't know. Did you know that?
No.
This is the southernmost point in New York State, right here. Yeah. The South Pole, you might say.
I mean, imagine you just lost everything and someone says to you, and by the way, you might lose your property. How do you deal with that?
That was an insult to the injury, right?
It was an insult beyond comprehension.
We've lived here 42 years, and we're members of the community in the sense that we would hate to leave the people that we've come to know and that our children have come to know. We have 8 children, and they all grew up on this 3 miles of beachfront here. I don't know if you could bring the camera across that to see why it's worthwhile staying here, you know.
I mean, FEMA's good. You go to an office and sit somebody and someone looks at you. You've been in a natural disaster, you know. Like, it's like prettying yourself up after your world's been blown apart. You can't do it. I couldn't sit there.
There was a tremendous lack of consultation.
There was no consultation. There was no counseling. There was no sensitivity.
Nobody asked the people who were affected what they wanted or what they needed. It was just, you know, this is what we can provide.
My home was destroyed October 29th from Hurricane Sandy.
It was given a red tag, which doesn't necessarily mean demolition. If you don't do anything about it, it would be demolished. You know, in other words, if we were penniless, then the next step would be the city would come and demolish it.
Isn't that piece of junk coming down? Now, some of them would say things like that. So it kind of put the community at odds with each other because, well, I'm ready to yell, but you could stay in there. You can't. What are you doing in your house? You're red tagged. You know, you should be gone. What are you kidding? This is my home. How could you say that? You know?
I didn't really prepare as well as I should have. We should have brought everything up above. You know, my wife and I were really shocked when we saw the water 2 feet deep in the street, and we still had another 2 hours to go to high tide. This is kind of an interesting thing, this book here, because it's one of many. You know, there's a whole bunch of them there. And after every event, they send a team to evaluate the effectiveness of FEMA in that storm. So I got them all. I read them all. I highlighted all of them because I thought I was going to be eligible for part of this aid. Now, if you compare one of these books to the other, you'll see the same exact mistakes made in every storm and the same exact recommendations made in every evaluation. Having equipped ourselves with this information, we find that when we go to these meetings, we know a lot more than most of the people in charge of the meetings from the government because they've never read them.
What happened to Staten Island then? Like, why weren't we getting the aid and the help? And letters like this, should this even be a letter? Should this even be a point? They recognize our need to help you during a federal disaster, but I'm getting no assistance. How do you do that? President Obama wrote you 4 times and personally asked for you to intercede. I believed in this man that he would help the United States, help people like me who are waterfront, who are bayfront, who have no other means of helping, have to borrow from people, have to beg for money, for aid from other people. Why should I do that when I have a government who gave to my next door neighbor? People got 124, the people got the whole houses rebuilt and some did not. How is that fair?
More than anything else, what people need when they're down and out is inspiration from other people who are not just doing the job for money, they're doing it because they care about other people. I had to sit back and many times to just admire these families who sometimes came as only family units. They were all piled in a van from way out west and come here because this is what they enjoyed doing. This is what gave them personal satisfaction, helping strangers. And this is what ultimately kept a lot of people going in times of stress and distress.
We are getting better. We are rebuilding. But I want to show you something that they sent me. This was from the Evangelical Free Church in Markesan, Wisconsin. This box, and I'm going to start crying, was so important to me because it came on a day when it was raining, and my 7-year-old husband and I were holding 2x4s up downstairs. As you see, I still have wood that is all over the house, and things not finished, and because we don't have the money that a lot of people gotten to fix, so we're doing it ourselves. And these people sent me letters, and as you can see, they were the most beautiful letters I have ever received. They sent me letters of support. They told me about how they lived in their houses as I have for 43 years. I mean, they were long, beautiful, detailed letters of how please stay in God's grace, keep the faith, go on. You know, there are other people who are really concerned and love you, and that you don't even know that are reaching out to you. And there are thousands of us, they told us. Some of us were helped, some of us were not, and I feel that was discrimination. I also have a women's support group. There's about 10 to 15 of us that meet on Monday night. And I got professional other counselors beside myself who come in, and we talk about our issues. We have a berm, it's right outside those windows over there, and it's about 15 to 20 feet now. That's kind of cutting off this community, but it's going to also protect us. So there's a lot of issues continually. Do we go up? Who gets what? You know, some houses are getting rebuilt, some people are not here. And all of that is something that we are addressing in that community, and we're trying to be cohesive as a group.
We're happy the neighbors survived, those that did, and we're happy to still live among them. And yes, we will stay. We will not be one of the ones who are looking for a buyout, although on our own block, I would say the majority of the people in these fairly new houses are looking for the buyout. I
know there are positive solutions to this. Help where the need is, not the infrastructure, because the infrastructure will eventually come. That aid is still there, that money is still there, but you haven't helped the people who need it. So how is government being effective? You're non-effective. You're ineffective.